now, let's go on ahead and go over to our Ariel Salk, who is live at the Chambers election watch party. Ariel, what can you tell us tonight?
Yeah, so it's definitely a disappointing evening here. I'm actually standing with Gary Chambers right now. Can you tell us, how are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm not disappointed. I think that what we see is a reflection of a deeply divided Democratic Party. What we see is a reflection of people who have been disenfranchised. I don't blame the voters who didn't show up. I blame the system that doesn't work for them. When you look at Louisiana and what we've done, we raised $1 million. We beat a candidate endorsed by the governor. We beat a candidate that the Democratic Party chose to try to divide us with. And had we had a unified front, we know that we would have really given John Kennedy a run for his money. The other thing is, I will talk to Republican voters who voted for John Kennedy. You lost tonight, too, because continually voting against your interests is why Louisiana ranks 50th in the nation. Now, a lot of folks would get up and say sad things about this, but I'm proud of the work we've done. They said a progressive candidate wouldn't beat a moderate candidate. We proved that wrong. We proved that a black candidate can beat a white candidate in the Democratic side. And what we know is that if somebody stands up next year, I will be supporting whoever the black candidate stands up to run for governor, because it won't be me.
So what will be next for you?
Wait and find out.
Oh, keeping us on our toes here.
No doubt.
What kind of lessons learned that you might apply to future endeavors or future election?
I think the lessons learned are really about the work that we need to do to really say we don't need to listen to moderates to make decisions for this state. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in this state who want better, but there are some people who want the way of the past. The results tonight show to every Democrat in this state the way of the past is dying. We're going in a different direction. Katie Bernhardt, the chair of the party, should be removed. I stand on that today. And everything that we are going to do is going to be about the work of building this state, because Louisiana doesn't have to rank last. We rank last because we've got pitiful leadership.
Now, you kind of covered this, but I'm just circling back. You know, what were some of the biggest hurdles in this campaign?
I think when you look at the fact that we won the executive committee vote from the Democratic Party, and then the chair of the party changed the rules in the middle of the process, so there was not one unified candidate. When you look at the other states around the country, they're able to mobilize around one candidate. The division that existed divided only because maybe John Bel Edwards endorsed this candidate. But we've got to call those things out. We've got to make sure that people know why we got here, so that we don't repeat those mistakes in the future. And that's the work that I think that we need to go after.
All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us, and congratulations on getting this far. And I appreciate you speaking with us this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, that is it for us here. But you can follow us with more results online at brproud.com. Reporting live for your local election headquarters, Ariel Salk. Back to you.